Anti-Semitism is on the rise. UT students left concerned after reports of vandalism and physical altercations in West Campus. What you need to know to stay safe.
Climbing the ranks, where the University of Texas stacks up in a new survey out from U.S. News and World Report of the best public universities in the nation.
Talking politics, Tribune Fest brings major newsmakers and news anchors from across the country to Austin. All the highlights from the three-day event.
Bombing in breakaway region. Members of Austin Armenian community express outrage over what they consider to be an ethnic cleansing.
And COVID testing returns. How you can get your free test if you're worried about catching COVID this fall.
This is Texas News Primetime.
News made for Longhorns. Good evening, I'm Ella Denena.
And I'm Michelle Tomayo. Tonight, an update on UT. The University of Texas at Austin has climbed the ranks and was named the 9th best public university in the nation, according to the U.S. News and World Report. Several factors such as first-year retention rate, student-faculty ratio, and graduation rates are taken into account in the ranking criteria.
U.S. News also reviewed several undergraduate programs and placed specialties in the Macomb School of Business, Cockrell School of Engineering, and the Computer Science programs in the top 10.
The University of Texas received reports of anti-Semitic vandalism in the West Campus area amid 2 Jewish high holidays. The leaders of several prominent Jewish student communities have posted on social media sites reporting vandalism as well as a physical altercation. The Anti-Defamation League published a report stating that anti-Semitic incidents in Texas have increased by 89% from 2021 to 2022. UT officials have since condemned these actions, and UTPD has expanded patrols. Reporter Ethan Housewright sat down with an Austin Armenian council member to discuss the bombing raid from the Azerbaijan government that caused the deaths of dozens of ethnic Armenians in the disputed territory of Nagorno-Karabakh.
Hispanic Heritage Month is here. One of our reporters, Jasmine Palacios, visited the Blanton Museum of Art to see the celebrations surrounding Mesoamerican and contemporary Latino art. Let's take a look.
National Hispanic Heritage Month is here, and so are the events happening all around the Austin area to celebrate.
One of the events UT is spotlighting is at the Blanton Museum of Art, where they're celebrating Mesoamerican and contemporary Latino art.
The Blanton Museum opened earlier this year 2 new collection galleries dedicated to Latino art as a part of an institution-wide initiative to expand its focus on art by Latino artists. This is the first National Hispanic Heritage Month where this brand new gallery is being shown.
More exciting things are happening at Blanton, like the Latino Art Tour by Claudia Zapta, Blanton's first curator of Latino art.
Latino and Chicano art history, there are very few of us, and I'm the inaugural Associate Curator of Latino Art for the Blanton Museum. These works have never been seen before. They're not published. They've never been exhibited. Some have, but most haven't. So this is a very historic space and historic moment. So welcome to history.
Besides the art galleries, there's also fun dancing, food from Tamale Addiction, and music from Grammy Award-winning producer Adrian Cuesta.
So my favorite part is absolutely the music.
More events around the Austin area are set to be happening for the remainder of Hispanic Heritage Month. But until then, I'm Jasmine Palacios with TSTV News.
And now for an update on Texas. The Texas Tribune wrapped up its annual 3-day festival this past weekend. The event presented the Austin community with notable figures such as UT politicians, activists, and professors. Some featured speakers included U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, who emphasized the passage of school choice in Texas, calling it the civil rights issue of the 21st century. Former U.S. Representative Gabrielle Giffords and U.S. Senator Mark Kelly also spoke about combating the detriments of gun violence. New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu expressed a vision for the future of the Republican Party that was different from the Texas GOP. Finally, Texas State Senator Cesar Blanco and Texas Representative Eddie Morales discussed border issues rampaging Texas. The 4 whistleblowers who were fired after reporting Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton to the FBI have decided to continue their legal fight against the AG. They filed the new lawsuit after Paxton was acquitted of corruption charges during his impeachment trial Monday. This decision was prompted by Paxton's refusal to meet the $3.3 million settlement earlier this year.
With the start of the fall semester, one thing you can count on is an influx of sick students. The good news is that free at-home COVID-19 tests are back. Starting today, September 25th, households can order up to 4 free COVID-19 rapid tests by mail. Biden's relaunch of the COVID testing program is in response to the concerning rise in recent COVID-19 hospitalizations. The FDA has also updated a list of multiple at-home COVID tests whose expiration dates have been extended. Before trashing your expired tests, be sure to take a look at the FDA's website to see if your specific test is still viable.
This past Sunday, undergraduate researchers from UT and schools across the state competed in the Fall Undergraduate Research Symposium, a showcase competition for research projects in the biological and chemical sciences. Researchers presented their projects, including using lasers to treat ADHD and fighting water pollution by genetically engineering cyanobacteria. They answered questions before a panel of judges as a part of the College of Natural Sciences Experiential Learning Week. Competitors also had a chance to compete in the Science Slam division, a 3-minute, one-slide elevator pitch designed to communicate students' findings to the layperson. Winners in each category were bestowed the honor of a DNA-shaped trophy for their hard work campaigning of scientific research.
The U.S. approved a new aid package for Ukraine amidst Russia's invasion. The additional help was approved during Ukrainian President Zelensky's 3rd visit to the White House, where he asked for more financial assistance as the conflict persists. The package is worth $325 million in military artillery, which includes air defense, anti-tank weapons, and cluster munition. This past year, Ukraine has reclaimed over half of their territory, and President Biden awaits congressional approval for an additional $24 billion to further aid the war effort. Now let's hear from our nation correspondent, Hope Vanderberg. Hope, talk to us about the nation.
The federal government could be shutting down on October 1st. The shutdown is contingent on if Congress is unable to pass a funding plan for the president to sign under the new federal budget year. This would mean all federal agencies will have to halt any non-essential tasks and suspend non-essential federal employees. The shutdown could also cause paycheck delays for federal workers, delays in government services such as passport services, disruptions in federal travel and tourism services, and negative implications for stock markets. It is unknown how long the shutdown could last. The Biden administration is expected to unveil a plan later this week to enroll Israel in the Department of Homeland Security's visa waiver program. This program currently grants the citizens of 40 countries permission to travel to the U.S. for the purposes of business or tourism for up to 3 months without visas. This forthcoming decision has been met with criticism by Palestinian Americans amid the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The official announcement is set to be made Thursday by Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. U.S. District Judge Matt Kaczmarek ruled Thursday that a decision to ban drag performance on a Texas university campus did not violate the First Amendment of the Constitution. The president of West Texas A&M University announced that drag performances would no longer be permitted on campus earlier this year. An LGBTQ+ student group known as Spectrum WT filed a lawsuit against the school's president after he canceled their fundraising-based drag performance back in March. Kaczmarek argued in his ruling that drag shows can be regulated further than other free speech because of their, quote, sexualized content, according to the Associated Press.
Thank you so much for that, Hope. When we come back, the House GOP's investigations of President Biden intensify, and the latest on the war in Ukraine.
Back on Primetime, let's turn to the House GOP's latest efforts to investigate President Biden. The House Oversight Committee will conduct the first hearing on President Biden's impeachment inquiry this Thursday. Members will discuss constitutional and legal questions regarding allegations of President Biden's abuse of public office and corruption under his administration. As requested by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, erroneous bank statements from the members of the president's family will also be investigated. In a 14-page memo, the White House claimed these allegations are unfounded and have been actively disproven. Texas high school student Daryl George was suspended for having a dreadlock hairstyle that violates Barbers Hill High School's dress code. In response to her son's 3-week suspension, Derisa George sued Governor Greg Abbott and State Attorney General Ken Paxton for failing to enforce the Crown Act. The policy, which went into effect earlier this month, allows students to wear locks or braids that are commonly associated with race. However, the Crown Act does not explain hair length requirements. By filing a lawsuit, the George family seeks to clarify length limitation and protect Daryl from further disciplinary action. This past Saturday, an Indian mycologist contracted a serious case of silver leaf disease, a fungal disease that infects plants. Researchers state that this is, quote, the first reported case of its kind. While fungal diseases in humans can be present, such as through athlete's foot, this fungal infection creates a pus-filled abscess next to his trachea, as well as the presence of hyphae, which allows for the bacteria to continue to grow deeper into systems. The patient in the case study has reportedly shown to have fully functioning immune system. It is still unclear about how the patient contracted the fungal infection in the first place. Now over to our world correspondent, Max Kinzer.
Thank you. Leaders in Africa have defended recent coups. After the coup in 2021, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, Guinea's interim president, spoke to the UN General Assembly about the coups and the need to look more in depth into the causes. Global leaders have condemned the recent coups, while citizens of Africa have praised them for giving power back to the people. Concerns still remain about the effectiveness of military coups in addressing the problems that caused the intervention. Countries such as Mali and Burkina Faso have seen worsened conditions after coups failed to address these issues. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has accused the Indian government of suspected involvement in the killing of Sikh independence activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. He was shot on June 18th outside the Sikh temple where he served as president. Nijjar was wanted in India for multiple suspected terrorist attacks. Trudeau took to Parliament last week to state his accusations against India without providing conclusive evidence. India has called the allegations absurd and expelled the Canadian diplomat. Canada has expelled their Indian diplomat, and a trade deal between the two has stalled. The headquarters of Russia's Black Sea Fleet was struck by Ukrainian missiles on Friday. Russia's defense ministry originally stated one serviceman was killed, but later redacted the claim, stating they were missing. Crimea has been a central hub for Russia's invasion of Ukraine, with Sevastopol as the main base for the Black Sea Fleet. The attack comes as Russia has hit Ukrainian cities with missiles, and President Volodymyr Zelensky has begun meeting with Western leaders such as President Joe Biden.
Cohesion in childhood and adulthood contributes to better cognitive function during midlife and later adulthood. PhD student Jean Coy used data from more than 3,000 adults and found that factors such as income level, stress, and isolation were all culprits in causing memory diseases. Currently, cognitive disorders such as Alzheimer's and dementia are projected to reach 13 million Americans by 2050. While the Super Bowl is an important event to many football fans, some may argue that the performers are more crucial to whether or not they will watch the game. Apple Music announced that Usher will be the headlining performer for Super Bowl 58. During an Apple Music special, Usher hinted at the possibility that some special guests may be joining him on that fateful Sunday. And mark your calendars on April 8th between 1:38 and 1:40 p.m. You will be able to see a solar eclipse take place. This event is rare, and you can expect to have complete darkness for a couple of minutes as the moon passes in front of the sun, blocking out all the sunlight. Hotels around the Austin area have already begun booking for this brief event, and as local Austinites, we will be lucky to witness it firsthand. Talk to your professors next semester and plan to take a step outside to witness this unique event. After nearly 2 years of renovations, the Texas Science and Natural History Museum on the UT campus is finally open. The museum tells the story of the world starting nearly 600 years ago, going all the way back to the present day. If you would like to visit the museum, it's located off of Dean Keaton and Trinity Street. Admission is $6 for UT students and those older than 65, and then $10 for non-UT students and those under 65.
When we return, the Longhorns' victory over Baylor and what we can expect in the next game. Tonight on Primetime Press Box. We have Campbell Choate from tstvnews Sports join us to give an update on the Longhorns. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Texas is now 4-0 with conference play starting on Saturday. Can you give us a recap of how Texas was able to blow out Baylor on their home field?
Over the weekend, Texas football fans celebrated a win against the Baylor Bears in Waco. Winning 38-6, the Longhorn defense didn't allow for a single touchdown in the game's entirety, with just 3 field goals scored for Baylor. As for offense, running back Jonathan Brooks scored 2 touchdowns and ran a total of 106 yards. Even QB Quinn Ewers got in on the touchdown action, running into the end zone in the second quarter. Ewers threw 293 yards and has yet to throw an interception this season.
Texas volleyball also had a successful weekend with 2 straight sweeps against the Oklahoma Sooners. Which players had standout performances in this series?
Outside hitter Madison Skinner led the team in both kills with 19 in the first game and 11 in the second. Asia O'Neal and Molly Phillips also returned to the court after missing a couple games due to injuries. O'Neal had 5 blocks in Saturday's game, and Phillips got 4 kills in both Friday and Saturday's game. The Longhorns are now 7-3 and are currently ranked 10th in the nation.
NFL season is now ramping up as Week 3 has concluded. How did Texas teams perform this past Sunday?
Lots of interesting games this week as the Arizona Cardinals upset the Dallas Cowboys, winning 28-16. The Cardinals started off hot in the first half, and the Cowboys were unable to answer, with just 1 touchdown scored. This loss stems from the 13 enforced penalties the Cowboys logged. Running back Tony Pollard said, "We just got to be better," and mentioned that penalties go hand in hand with discipline. The Houston Texans beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, making this their first win of the season. QB C.J. Stroud threw a total of 280 yards on Sunday, and he now has 906 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions after just 3 games. The Texans will be playing the Steelers at the Energy Stadium this weekend.
Thanks for coming on, Campbell. When we return, legal troubles and accusations swirl around Lizzo.
Let's welcome Meta Siren for her first appearance on the program with an update on the latest in entertainment. Joining us now, welcome Meta. Why don't you fill us in on what's been going on in the world of entertainment?
Lizzo received a second lawsuit Thursday from a former wardrobe designer who said the singer's wardrobe manager made racist and fat comments, promoted sexual harassment, and forced her to work while injured. Lizzo's spokesperson has denied any wrongdoing. Lizzo, who has been praised for body-positive messages in her music, was also sued in August by 3 former dancers for creating a workplace culture of weight shaming and sexual harassment. Lizzo also denied those claims.
You know, with all this controversy around Lizzo, will you keep listening to her songs?
Yeah, so I'm the kind of person who listens to songs and tries not to look into a singer's personal life, but with Lizzo, I think I am going to avoid her music for a while. After 146 days on strike, the Writers Guild of America, WGA, arrived at a tentative agreement with Hollywood. Once the language of the agreement is finalized, 2 governing branches of the WGA are likely to vote on the contract Tuesday. The branches will also vote on whether to end the strike or not, meaning writers could return to work before contract ratification. In the meantime, the WGA has ended picketing, but told its members not to return to work.
What do you make of this advancement in the writer's strike?
Yeah, hopefully it results in our shows coming back to screen, but I do hope that it's advantageous for the writers.
Absolutely.
Beyoncé arrived at her hometown of Houston over the weekend as part of her Renaissance World Tour. Her stop was projected to bring millions of dollars to Houston's economy through transportation, hotel bookings, and other expenses. Harris County even passed a resolution renaming itself B County for the weekend to celebrate Beyoncé's contributions to the local economy. Megan Thee Stallion, another Houston native, joined Beyoncé on stage as a surprise guest.
What do you make of the Renaissance Tour?
Yeah, it's really exciting to see how Beyoncé can just transform Houston's culture just with a tour date and raise the economy. And it's extra special since she's performing in her hometown.
As always, you can follow Texas News Primetime and TSTV News on social media just by searching. Also, take us with you on the go by subscribing to our podcast available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Thank you for watching and good night.